Hi, everybody. I'm Luke Mulks. I'm VP of Business Operations at Brave and at the Basic Attention Token. And today I'm here to talk about building user first, addressing privacy concerns, and a more privacy aware world. We're here. It's 2025. Privacy's finally hit the timeline, which is fantastic. We're seeing the pickup of cash and Zcash and Railgun, on the crypto side, and a whole new slew of ZK related protocols and teams and projects, which is fantastic. We're seeing a proliferation of AI tools. ChatGPT is becoming a verb. Sam Altman is going on Theo Von and talking about how, with people, treating ChatGPT like their therapist, lawyer, and doctor. Reminding people that, hey, if those records can be requested, they will be provided. So there's a new level of privacy concerns around AI that were not there before. Also, with the passing of the Genius Act and stablecoin adoption, the EU is talking about CBDCs, and that's creating a new awareness around financial privacy that wasn't necessarily there before. At the same time that you have the UK, EU, and Florida and Texas implementing ID verification methods in certain contexts or in order to KYC the web as a whole. At the same time, like on a positive note, starting to see privacy-oriented products gaining momentum. Proton's, at 50 to 100 million users. Braves, we've reached over 100 million monthly active users. Having the numbers, it helps to put the data to the need for privacy. And what does this mean? So the shift of awareness with privacy. We went from an era in 2016 where people that supported the status quo said, hey, people don't care about privacy. They raised doubt around how much users care, the privacy paradox. All the kids are putting their lives on social. Why privacy is dead, that kind of thing. It turns out that when products do make privacy convenient and competitive, that people do move they do care, they will move with their feet to a product that protects their privacy when it's a product is available to protect their privacy. And where does that put us? So now in 2025 we find ourselves in a place where the market's going from doubting whether privacy matters to having to compete with privacy. So what we're going to start seeing is companies saying, we have a privacy thing, we also have a privacy thing. Oh, we've solved for privacy in other marketing bullshit, frankly. But also you'll start to see a redefinition of, confidential is a new privacy, or you'll start to see solutions that focus on privacy for some, or privacy for some of the time, or privacy for all some of the time, or privacy in certain contexts. These aren't necessarily inherently bad things, but they are things that we should be aware of. And so for devs and builders, it's really time to step up. I can't say this strongly enough. Privacy changes at scale do not happen from the ground up. They happen because people build things that put people's privacy in the spotlight and protect it. Without solutions that include privacy, users have nowhere to go. And also it means you got to realize that privacy is not a layer, pool, rail, or a single vector to solve for. Privacy is a mindset that you have to adopt as an organization at your core, at your ethos, from your policies to your product implementation to how you dictate, your relationship with the users. And that's why your policies are as important for privacy as your implementation is. Your policies are telling the world what your company can do and will do with the user's information, even if you're not doing it today. It's kind of the upper and lower bound, the range that of things that can happen and who that data can be shared with. So it's important that your policies reflect what you're putting in the product. So we build from first principles on both that reflect an ethos around privacy, you're going to be able to see something that's much more holistic. But really, it's not about price. It's about building user first. User first isn't new, but it's arguably long forgotten. Building the user first ethos protects the user's privacy by default, but it also does other things like bring security incentive benefits for the user in addition to privacy. And that's really important because you look out for the user on all fronts. Crypto has the opportunity to either lead by example with user first principles, or build an even more dystopian future by ignoring them. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. Building user first is possible. At Brave, we've built from 0 to 100 million monthly active users with user first principles. We've also built business with this, with Ford, Toyota, major advertisers, major agencies putting their business through Brave that preserves privacy for users. We've grown revenue to over 100 million annually using for user first principles. This stuff is possible. It's not just us either. Proton and others have embraced user first principles and have made businesses that respect those principles and respect the users. Ultimately, we are all users. If you want a future that's better on privacy, you have to build the future that you hope others will build for you. Set the example. What is user first? User first simply means putting the interest of the user first before companies' commercial interests, putting user first with your policy decisions and terms, with your partnerships and commercial integrations, with the way you handle privacy and data handling, with how you manage the relationship with the user. Are you putting the interest of a partner, of another business, ahead of the user because they want you to sacrifice something from the user? Or are you saying, no, the user's paramount? We will protect the privacy of the user. We will not whitelist your thing that collects the user's information without them knowing it. The user is first. Building user first brings practical challenges. The current defaults at scale with the web, the defaults that power and monetize the web are inherently user hostile. This isn't necessarily malicious. This is the way that big tech scaled. There's this notion that in order to have a quote unquote free web, that requires the user sacrificing their privacy as a cost. It is bullshit. It is fundamentally broken, and it is something that we're all trying to correct in this room. It means you're going to have to work against the grain with large things you do and with small things that you do, with accounting and with performance. It means you have to look and do the hard work of saying, what do I need to know and what can I get rid of? It requires discipline to do this. It's going to impact your partnerships and commercial considerations. It means doing more diligence with those things, and it means saying, hey, I'm not going to sacrifice my user privacy by whitelisting something, or hey, I'm not just going to glaze over policies and hope that you're doing the best. People don't know what privacy really means. Companies really don't know either. In the EU, they've set definitions around what personal data and information means, but in the US, privacy is basically what companies say that it is. In a world of privacy awareness, there are going to be many shades of privacy lipstick that emerge from the pigs in tech. And so what it really means is that it's on us as builders to basically do the diligence, do our homework, and double check and make sure that the policies, the implementation, and the practices align with what we're putting in front of our users and putting our users into. So don't treat privacy as a one-off feature, an isolated vector, or a thing to solve with a single item solution. Treat it as a holistic mindset. Treat it as an ethos that you implement at every level of the company. If we don't objectively audit our current state of the products and policies, then we're just building a more dystopian future. If you're using Web 2 data analytics that pass information on what the user is doing in the URL, you're most likely unintentionally passing what they're doing in Web 3 along with that information. This makes a more dystopian future for the users. It makes a richer target for marketers. It makes a richer target for governments. Aim to collect as little or no user information as possible. And finally, create a privacy and security review process. We have a great one. You can steal it. The link's on the screen. Make this a thing that you do and take a closer look into that and ask others to do it as well. Finally, if you're using Google Analytics or Google Tag Manager, find a way to get rid of it. Figure out what you can do that avoids using it. There are first-party self-hosted solutions like Matomo that let you condition and harden for privacy that you can use. There are great people over there. They got good documentation. Other people use it as well. Feel free to reach out. Also, if you have to use dependencies that require data, opt to process and dump versus collecting it. If you have to collect it for some reason, collect it for as short as you can as possible, and try to blind yourselves as a company from that by using client-side encryption and other things like that. Never assume your partners or vendors are doing what they claim, period. Look at their policies, ask hard questions, check the network traffic yourself. Like, do the diligence. It's important if you care about the user, and then ask them really dumb and really hard questions. They should be able to answer them if they're going to do business with you. Web3 users are at a significantly greater profiling and tracking risk because of two things: the culture that we're in, where, using crypto Twitter, attaching your social handle to a wallet address, putting them into a dApp that might be using Web2 analytics to collect all that information. You've got public transactions on a public blockchain, along with public social profiles tied to a blockchain wallet and the Web2 status quo. It's a recipe for a richer targeting set and for a more dystopian future. So feel free to reach out to projects that do this right way. Like, more than likely, they're willing to talk with you. I love it. I would rather compete with privacy preserving companies than ones that are privacy hostile. It forces us to build better products. It's also builds a better world for everybody. And it's also much easier to start with a user first ethos and approach than to apply it retroactively, though it is possible. You just have to do a little bit more elbow grease and diligence on making the changes and stick with them. Finally, there is no freedom without privacy. A lot of companies in the crypto space and projects are going to say freedom a lot. Check their policies. If they are behaving in a way that's user hostile, it's not really about freedom. It's about marketing. Right now is our last chance to get it right. And it's up to everybody in this room, everybody that's building, to either change the game or capitulate to the status quo and to a dystopian future. AI is going to be bigger every day. It's going to converge with crypto. It's going to converge with Web2. This is our last chance to get it right. So I hope this was helpful. Please, thank you for your time. If you want to check out more about Brave, go to brave.com. We're at Brave and at Attention Token on X. We're at github.com/Brave. All our repos are out there. Our wiki is available in the Brave browser repo. Also, my DMs are open on X. It's at Luke Mulks. I also host a Brave Technologist podcast at brave.com/podcast if you want to check it out. Feel free to reach out. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great rest of the event.